it's hard to understand.
His true feelings would come out, I suppose.
I suppose,
I suppose. How in your house did you celebrate Christmas? Christmas. What was Christmas like in your house?
You mean when I was young?
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of hard to see because there was no money. First of all, you have to realize we had no money.
Yes, I understand.
We had no money. So you would get like a copybook, or maybe an orange. I swear to God, or maybe a pen. That was your Christmas present.
Yes,
that was it.
But you didn't have that the rest of the year, so it was special, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was special.
Oh God, yeah, it was great. It was great because you never got anything. Anything you got at all was a plus.
Yeah.
Like kids today say, I don't want. But we had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So when you got something,
it was a big deal.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
What did your mother fix for a meal at Christmas?
Huh?
What would your mother have made for Christmas?
My mother's brother had a poultry shop, big poultry shop. He was pretty well off. And they always give us a goose at Christmas time. And mother would make the goose and make a big plum pudding. We'd get a big white sheet and put all the stuff in it and make a huge big plum pudding. And we'd have that for Christmas. And maybe somebody might buy like a small box of candy or something. That'd be another plus.
Yes, yeah. And the smell of it cooking in the house was probably wonderful too.
Yeah. It was great. I used to love Christmas because it was just a special time. You get about 3 meal deliveries on a Christmas morning. The mailman's always coming. People are coming in, knocking the door and saying hello or whatever.
Lots of visitors.
Yeah.
And did you go to church on Christmas?
Oh, all the time. My mother insisted on me go to church all the time. All the time, every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
The whole family.
Well, I wouldn't say the whole family, but my father would occasionally. And when he was good, he was good, and when he was bad, he was horrid. When he was good, he went to church. When he was bad, he didn't. But we had to go.
Yeah. And your mother took everybody to church with her.
Well, we went. We were 8 of us. We went. But that was one thing my mother insisted on. When I was older, when I was like 20, 21 years old, and I would go out on Saturday night and have a few drinks and come in and go to bed. My mother would wake up on Sunday morning and say, time to go to church. And I'd say, I don't feel good, man. He'd say, you spend 4 or 5 hours in a bar, you can spend half an hour in church. Get up.
End of discussion.
I never argued with my mother.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Yep.
And how close was the church to your home?
Next door.
Oh, so it was very handy.
Still is, yeah. Next door.
And your mother was then a very religious lady.
My mother was, yeah. Well, my mother was a saint because she had to bring up 8 kids with very little help from her father,
Yes, yeah.
So.
And was she involved in the church? Did she do things for
No,
you?
no. She had no time. She had, 8 kids.
How about birthdays? Did you celebrate birthdays?
Never. They just went by. Nobody ever mentioned your birthday.
They never mentioned it?
No, never. No. Somebody said, oh, that was your birthday last week. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you knew you were another year older.
Well, there was no reason for it. There was no celebration. There was no cash.
Yeah. Were you involved in sports, Jim? Did you get involved with sports?
No. I was kind of skinny when I was a kid. Kind of skinny yet, but I was. I didn't.
How about drama? Drama, plays, or anything like that? No. Music?
No.
No. When people came to your house to visit, did you have a party piece? Did you have a party piece when visitors came?
Have a what?
Party.
A party piece?
Did you sing? Did you sing a song or recite
No.
a poem or anything when you were?
I swear to God, I never sang like out of this country. Maybe I don't sing yet. I don't know, but I never was a singer at home.
No. Any of your family? Did your mother sing?
My mother did, and my father was a good singer. Yeah.
And so when people came to the house, would you have people sing?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of sing songs. That's all you could do. Sing song,
Yeah. And people were not drinking in those days. People were not drinking so much when they were singing in the house, were they?
People were always drinking. If there was no food in the house, there was always some way to get a drink. Always.
Always some way to get a drink.
Always, yes, there
Okay.
was.
Do you remember anyone in your family dying while you were growing up, and how was that? You know, was the funeral from the house? Do you
Yes,
remember that?
my
Can you
brother,
tell me
my
about-
brother died.
Tell me about that.
My brother, his name was Richard Francis. He became a Christian brother. He was down in south of Ireland. He got a tumor in his back. He was born on my birthday, incidentally. He was born 9 years after I was born. And he was in hospital for 10 months before he died of this tumor in his back. And I remember very well as when he died, because I was working in London, and somebody told me this was my daughter. I'm not sure about that, because my wife brought her home one day and said, "This is your daughter." So so we had to go home for my brother's death. Sooner, yeah.
And was that in the house?
And the sad part about it is, Peg, that my son died last year
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
cancer, whose name was also Richard Fleming, Richard Francis Fleming.
Oh my goodness, name for his brother. And that's very sad. That's very sad.
Yes, it was. To me, it was a tragedy.
Yes. Oh yeah. I can well imagine. What made you decide that you were going to leave Ireland? At some point, you decided to go somewhere else. What made that decision come about?
Well, when first of all, I went to England because there wasn't any work around, and I'd been laid off a job, and I was collecting unemployment, and they sent me a card, to go down to unemployment and said, "We have a job for you in England." So I went to Worcester, and I worked there on the railroad for quite a while, and then I went to London, and I worked in London for several years. I met my wife in Worcester, who come from Dublin. My wife come from Dublin. I was from Belfast, like a mixed marriage.
Yes.
But and she was working in Worcester also, so that's where I met my wife.
And you worked on the railroad. What did you do on the railroad?
Well, these were all freight cars that had been shunted on the side during the war years. There was nobody there to repair them, so they just shunted them on the side. And after the war was over, they were bringing them out and trying to put them back into service again. So, hot boxes and buffer springs, stuff like that.
All right, so you were repairing, kind
Yeah.
of. And what did your wife do?
My wife worked in a cannery place. They made cans for beans and peas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was her name?
Christine.
Christine. And how did you meet Christine?
Well, I was living in a hostel in Worcester, and she was also living in a hostel in Worcester. And I met her in the house. It was like so many rooms for men and so many rooms for women.
Right. Okay.
But they had a common where we eat lunch and dinner and stuff. And that's where I met her. Yeah.
And were you married in England? Did you get married in England?
No, we got married in Belfast.
In Belfast.
Yeah.
Okay. And when was that? When were you married?
1948.
Okay. And so you were established, and she went back to Belfast with you to live?
Yes. Well, I went home first because I got a job in the aircraft factory in Belfast. I went home first, and then she came after me when I got the job established and all. We got married in Belfast. We lived in Belfast for a while.
Why did you decide to go back to Belfast?
Because I got a job in the aircraft factory with big money.
Yeah. Would you have thought about going to Dublin if you had found a job in Dublin? Would you have gone to Dublin if the job had been in Dublin?
Yes, I would have, and I wish to God it had been. I'd still be there.
You would have rather have gone.
Oh, I love the South. I love Dublin.
Yeah.
I love Dublin City. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how it was to live in the war years in Belfast. What was it like to be there when the war was going on?
Well, I was working in there. I was doing. First of all, I was working for this shoemaker, but we were bombed out. We were bombed out of our house. We were in the house, and the house just fell down around us. We didn't get a direct hit, but we got the end of the street got hit, and the house just collapsed around us. So we went up to. That's where I lived next to the the church. There was a house there. It was vacant. I was just moved into the house. My father was in the Navy, and my father was home on leave when this air raid started. And my father was saying, "I wish to God I was back at sea again. I can't stand this." In fact, he did go back. He cut his leave short, went back.
And left the children and the wife.
Well, we took this house.
Okay. Yeah.
We got into this house.
Yes.
Like,
That's good.
But it was, you had to take what was coming to you. That was it. You didn't. I don't know what to say about it, but the war years. They were just something that happened, and
Was it frightening for a child, or was it kind of exciting?
it didn't bother. I swear to God, it didn't bother me at all. We were in our house. First of all, we got this air raid was coming on, and my father was home on leave, and two of my sisters were at a dance downtown in Belfast, and my father and I walked all the way downtown, got the two girls out of the dance hall, and the sirens were still going on. We're walking back, and there was a club that was still open, and my father had the two girls staying outside the club. Him and I had a few drinks in the club, and came out again and walked all the way back to the house. And when we got back so now we get back to the house, and my brother's sitting there, and him and I are playing cards, and the bombs are dropping all around the place, because you don't know these things. What do you know about this stuff?
Yeah.
You think you're going to live forever, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And then we saw the house across the street going up in flames, and it was one of those incendiary bomb type things where the jump drops over, and a fire will start here, and you put it out here, and it'll start over there, and you put it out there. And so those people were up out, and then our house the bath fell right into the backyard, so we had to get out of there. So we went up to this other place.
And you just kind of grabbed your belongings and
Well,
ran
we
out.
didn't grab anything, we just left.
Yeah. And no one was hurt.
In my house, nobody was hurt. But before we went, we had a little club at the corner of the street that we used to play cards in, a lot of guys. And I'd been playing cards there earlier, and the next day that club was gone, and nobody that was in it was ever seen again.
Wow.
Ever seen again.
Yeah. So it became so much a part of your life. It was just.
Well, it is, because you couldn't avoid it. It happened. That's it. You don't know how you're going to react to something unless it happens.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And did you go into the service at all, Jim?
No, I didn't. No.
No. Okay. Wow. How about any of your brothers? Did your brothers go?
My brother Tom was in the Merchant Navy. My brother Tom, when he was 17 years old, one of his buddies came up and told him he was on a merchant ship, and it was in Belfast, and he said they needed a cabin boy. And my brother Tom went home down to see if he could get the job as a cabin boy. I never saw him again for 17 years.
Wow.
17 years.
Wow.
He went on the ship, and the ship was torpedoed, and he was picked up at sea by American merchant ship. He joined the American Merchant Marine. He stayed on that for 20 years. He joined the American Army. He stayed on that for 21 years.
And how did he come back? How did you find him?
Well, some of our family were still living in, some of them were living in Florida, and of course my mother was still living in Belfast. So he went home to see my mother. When he went to see my mother, I was in England, so I didn't see him. I just talked to him on the phone.
Did he keep in touch with the family? Did he write letters back to your mother?
Once in a while, yeah.
So she knew he was all right.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
How did your mother take it when you said you were moving away, that you were going to England to live? Was your mother upset when you said you were going to England to live?
Well, I didn't really go to England to live. I went to England to go to work.
Yeah.
And I was nothing she could do about it. Nobody wants you to go to England, and I like the English people. Let me tell you something, Peg. The English people, contrary to what you think about the English government and what they hated about Ireland, English people are nice people.
Yeah.
Just like us.
Yeah.
Go out and have a beer on a Saturday night, take the kids out, throw a little darts, read the paper. Just
normal, everyday people.
Huh?
Normal,
Absolutely. Yeah. I like the people. Yes, I did. Yeah.
It's just the government policy.
It's the government
Yeah.
to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
They just tell you what to do and you have to do it. There's young Irish guys, young English guys in Belfast, when I'm home several times, going around there with big guns. They don't know what to do with them. They're only 19, 20 years old, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like our guys in Iraq right now.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Did you ever have run-ins with any of the English soldiers or anything when you were a young fellow in Belfast?
No, I never had any. I had run-ins with Protestants in Belfast because there are only two people there. That's Protestants and Catholics. There's no grey line in between. You're either a Protestant or you're a Catholic.
Yeah.
And I had a few run-ins with them. Yeah.
Did you have a tendency to just stay with Did you have any Protestant friends?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I worked in I had a lot of Protestant friends, but when I came around the 12th of July, you separated. You didn't. It was just one of those things that. It's very hard to explain unless you had to be there.
Oh, yeah.
In Belfast because it's not that you don't like Protestants if you're a Catholic. It's bred into you when you're born.
Yes.
You're told already. You're a Catholic. She's Protestant, and you don't talk to her.
Yeah.
You hate her. It's bred into you.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be taught.
You have to be taught.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And tell me what it would have been like around July when the parade started. What was the tradition behind that made that happen?
The tradition that was of King William who crossed the Boyne and whatever. And so they had all these huge big bonfires they light up and they cursed the Pope in 17 different languages, like, you know, pictures of and all that stuff, you know. I used to go to these things at night when I was a kid because of the big bonfire there and all. I'd sit there chopping all, because what the hell did I know?
Yeah,
know?
right, yeah.
As a kid. I was never into the hatred part of this thing at all, never.
Yeah. Did the Catholics in Belfast have something similar to the marching of the Protestants? Did the Catholics have something like that?
No, we didn't. No, we weren't allowed.
You weren't allowed to?
You weren't allowed, no.
Okay. Yeah. Were you ever stopped at borders?
Oh, yeah, I've been stopped a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
One time I was home on holiday and we were stopped by a bunch of guys, but they looked in the car and they saw me and my wife and my sister and they knew these people aren't doing anything.
They knew you.
They knew what you look like, and you're not a risk, like, you know.
Yeah.
But if you made the wrong, you know, they all stand there with these guns, you know, make the wrong move, and